Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of 1 Samuel, the 10th chapter. As we went through the 9th chapter, right, Saul and his servant were looking for the lost asses, right, the donkeys of their father, which eventually led them to meeting Samuel, who invited them to the high place to eat of the sacrifice before having them make their departure. So being at the point now, right before, as Samuel asked Saul to have the servant go on ahead, and he would talk to Saul concerning what the Lord had showed him. So here we are, 1 Samuel chapter 10, verse 1. Then Samuel took a vial of oil and poured it upon his head and kissed him and said, It is not because the Lord Yahweh hath, or is it not because the Lord Yahweh hath anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance? Now, something about the Old English is sometimes when you see, the wording almost like a rhetorical question or in a question form, it can read the same, or the meaning is as though you took out the is and a not, or it's like saying, it is because the Lord have anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance that I'm doing this, right? So when you read it like this, it's kind of like saying, am I not doing this because the Lord has anointed you to be captain over his inheritance? Verse 2, when thou art departed from me today, then thou shalt find two men by Rachel's sepulchre. Rachel, like as in Jacob, our forefathers' wife, Rachel, where she died and was where she was buried. And what Samuel is doing here is he's basically showing Saul the signs of what he would see and encounter on his way back. So it says here, when you leave, right, you're going to find two men by Rachel's sepulchre. So these were all places like, or let's just say on the path that Saul would take back home. It says here, in the border of Benjamin at Zelzah, and they will say unto thee, the asses which thou wentest to seek are found. And lo, thy father had left the care of the asses, and sorroweth for you, saying, What shall I do for you, my son? So these signs would also show or confirm in Saul's mind the things that Samuel had said to him. And so here he would meet them, right, and they would confirm that, hey, the donkeys are found, and now your father's worried about you, asking like, well, what am I going to do about my son? He's missing, yada yada. Verse 3, then thou shalt go on from thence, and thou shalt come to the plain of Tabor, and there shall meet thee three men going up to God, to Bethel, right? So that was like another high place where they would worship. And here what he is saying is less of like go here and then go here and then go here, but more so when you get to this place, or as you get to this place, this is what you're going to see. And this is what you should do when you see it. So you're going to see three men going up to worship, one carrying three kids, which are goats or baby goats, and another carrying 3 loaves of bread, and another carrying a bottle of wine. And they will salute thee, and give thee 2 loaves of bread, which thou shalt receive of their hands. So when they give that to you, take it. After that, thou shalt come to the hill of God, where is the garrison of the Philistines. So remember that the Philistines had, it is a back and forth. So the garrison was like a, it's like today having a little, like a precinct. Let's go into the word garrison here. Something placed, pillar, post, prefect. So like a station, right, where they would have some of the Philistine troops around. So basically, Samuel is marking the place. Like when you get to that place where, where the Philistine is, or the Philistine's garrison is, it's like somebody telling you today when you go, when you get to this part where you see where the police precinct is at, when you get there, you're going to see yada, yada, yada. And it shall come to pass, when thou art come thither to the city, that thou shalt meet a company of prophets coming down from the high place, with a psaltery and a tabret and a pipe and a harp before them, and they shall prophesy. And the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh will come upon thee, and thou shalt prophesy with them, and thou shalt be turned into another man. And what that means is the Lord is going to put a different spirit upon you. And let it be, when these signs are come on to thee, that thou do as occasion serve thee, for God is with thee. So when you see these signs that I've told you, do as I've told you. All right. And like, for example, accept the 2 loaves of bread, and so on. And thou shalt go down before me to Gilgal, and behold, I will come unto thee to offer burnt offerings, and to sacrifice sacrifices of peace offerings. So, meaning that there would come a time when Samuel would, make his way to Gilgal, right? Let's say that would be the next place where he would be doing the offerings or the sacrifices. And he's basically telling Saul, don't wait for me, right? As he says, 7 days shalt thou tarry till I come to thee and shew thee what thou shalt do. So when that time comes and you go there, just wait for me there. When it says don't wait for me, I meant like go there and I'll come and meet you. Don't wait for me to come before you go. Verse 9, and it was so that when he had turned his back to go from Samuel, God gave him another heart, right? So the Lord basically put a spirit upon him to where his mind was, you could say, more open or more spiritual. And you'll see what that allowed him to do later on. And all those signs came to pass that day. And when they came thither to the hill, being Saul and his servant, behold, a company of prophets met him, and the Spirit of God came upon him, and he prophesied among them. So it's spiritual that the Lord gave him another heart or another mind, because later on the Spirit will come upon him for him to prophesy. And it came to pass, when all that knew him before time saw that, behold, he prophesied among the prophets. Then the people said one to another, what is this that is come on to the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the prophets? Because usually, you would have like the prophets were known, right? And you had like sons of the prophets. So it was like a distinction. But Saul or his house weren't known, right, for being prophets. So it was strange for people to see that, to say like, oh shoot, like since when is Saul, amongst the prophets? It's like today, if you saw, you saw some, I don't know, like, let's just say some famous celebrity or something like that, standing with like, brothers teaching, and you're like, wait, but he's doing that Israelite stuff now? Like he's a part of that? Like, whoa, since when? And one of the same place. So this was like the question that was asked, right? And somebody replied and said, and one of the same place answered and said, but who is their father? Therefore it became a proverb, is Saul also among the prophets? Now the answer, but who is their father, is, when you look into it, for example, the father is likened onto one that either like births you, or can also be, especially in Hebrew, can also be like a founder or a giver, right? Of who come they, you could say. And so this answer, is more so, well, you can rephrase it as, did you forget who their father is, right? Or of who they came from, which is the Most High. And that's to say that, yeah, Saul is the son of Kish, and, he's not known for this, but being that this spirit comes from the Lord, he can put it on anybody, even Saul. Right? So don't forget who their father is, their spiritual father, that is, that giveth that spirit. Hence, you see even Saul prophesying. Therefore, it became a proverb, is Saul also among the prophets? So that was like a saying, having seen that. And when he had made an end of prophesying, he came to the high place. And Saul's uncle said unto him and to his servant, whither went ye? And he said, to seek the asses. And when we saw that they were nowhere, we came to Samuel. So we were looking for the asses, but we couldn't find them. So we went to Samuel. And Saul's uncle said, "Tell me, I pray thee, what Samuel said unto you." And Saul said unto his uncle, "He told us plainly that the asses were found. But of the matter of the kingdom whereof Samuel spake, he told them not." So Saul kept that part secret about the kingdom and him being king and all that. And Samuel called the people together unto the Lord Yahweh to Mizpah, and said unto the children of Israel, "Thus saith the Lord God of Israel." So he called an assembly. "I brought up Israel out of Egypt, and delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all kingdoms, and of them that oppressed you. And ye have this day rejected your God, who himself saved you out of all your adversities and your tribulations. And ye have said unto him, Nay, but set a king over us." So you said you wanted what you wanted, right? Regardless of whether you would be rejecting the Lord as king over you or not. You want a king? All right. "Now therefore present yourselves before the Lord Yahweh by your tribes and by your thousands." So so what they would do here is basically cast a lot to determine, who the king would be. And so they first grouped up themselves by their tribes. And typically a lot would be like if you had, for example, a coin, right? A coin toss. That's an example of a lot, right? Casting a lot, right? Where based on what side it falls on, if it's heads or tails, it would mean one thing, right? Maybe yes or no or something like that. So by having, them grouped up, you would then go tribe by tribe, right? Is he of this tribe? Then you would cast a lot. And then if it's no, then you move to the next tribe. Or is he of the tribe of Judah? Or is he of the tribe of Benjamin? And then if it falls on yes, then that's the Lord telling you, okay, that's the tribe that he's going to be from. So it says, "And when Samuel had caused all the tribes of Israel to come near, the tribe of Benjamin was taken," i.e. the lot fell on them, right, as I sort of just described. When he had caused the tribe of Benjamin to come near. So now of the tribe of Benjamin, it says here by their families, they were now separated into subgroups, differentiating by their families. So this would narrow down who the king would be. It says here, he caused them to come near by their families. And then once again, is he of this family? Is he of this family? Is he of this family? And the family of Matri was taken, so the lot fell on them. And then of them, they broke it down even more. And of the individuals, as it says, and Saul the son of Kish was taken. And when they sought him, he could not be found. So they were looking for him, and they're like, "Yo, where'd he go?" Therefore they inquired of the Lord further, if the man should yet come thither. So are we going to find him? And the Lord answered, "Behold, he hath hid himself among the stuff." And they ran and fetched him thence. And when he stood among the people, he was higher than any of the people from his shoulders upward. So he went and hid, but then they went and found him and brought him. And Samuel said to all the people, "See ye him, whom the Lord Yahweh hath chosen, that there is none like him among all the people." And all the people shouted and said, "God save the king," which is like a blessing, like almost like saying, "Long live the king." Then Samuel told the people the manner of the kingdom, and wrote it in a book, and laid it up before the Lord. And that manner of the kingdom, meaning what would be the duties of the king, what would be his rights, what is he entitled to, like all of those things. And Samuel sent all the people away, every man to his house. And Saul also went home to Gibeah, and there went with him a band of men whose hearts God had touched. So there was a group of men that the Lord put the Spirit upon to basically remain and go with Saul. But the children of Belial said, and these were like, when you look at the word Belial, it's like fools or base men, right? Worthless, wicked, good for nothing. And you always have those. So those of them that were there, that were the children of Belial, said, "How shall this man save us, And they despised him and brought him no presents, but he held his peace. So they were basically like, you know, yeah, okay, like we're not really down for this, but anyway. And so Saul, I mean, obviously Saul heard, but he just ignored it. And that brings us to the end of 1 Samuel, the 10th chapter. Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rechak Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.